tying this guy. So this is referred to as the Puff Daddy. And shout out to my boy Jack, always helping me out, getting me to organize tying videos a little bit. And a couple of my clients recently, Jim and Max. Max having tied some flies, Jim looking at some dry flies. I love dry fly fishing. I don't do enough videos on the flies, but I think for the guys that tie and come to this river and streamer fishing in general, as a rule, like same guys that like streamer fishing like to musky fish. They also like to fish saltwater. They also like to fish dry flies. So I'm gonna go through a couple. We'll say top handful on the South Holston. Um, this one's great because it's super high vis for the angler and the guide, and still has somewhat of a low profile. So hook, this is a 16. This shank length isn't. It's kind of like an 18. This is the emerger hook, so I like this hook gap a lot and the stickiness, but any of this 18 to 20 or 16 to 20 are great hooks. And I mean, honestly, as long as you get the insect body using the thread, and also Justin Schroyer of Trophy Water has informed me that while this is known as the Puff Daddy, and I will be calling it that for SEO purposes, it's actually created by a guy, local guy, using, instead of just a thread body, sliding up a glass bead right about, for the thorax, which I really dig. And yeah, so credit where it's due, except that's to a stranger and not Justin, the unknown creator. I'm gonna. It was a comment on a post from when I was ripping through these for their bins. So this is 140 denier thread. That's it. That's the body. Taper. Taper of a mayfly. Let's see. Got a preview on my computer that I can't really see because I have lights facing me from that direction and they're blinding me. So thread body, this fly is, I mean, once, if I'm really cooking on these, hooks out, got a full spool of thread, CDC. I like you want the CDCs, you're just palmering this around. So the ones that have a nice flexy tip. And this one's not super dense up top. I'm okay with that. And what this emulates is, well, who knows? Who knows why fish eat these things? I think they like duck. Now, the way it sits on the water and how it looks is, to me, it's kind of a cripple or a spent. But man, I would say it's pretty dangerous to limit your fishing to, one stage of a mayfly. I save these for tying some caddis pupa that I use on both the South Holston and the Watauga. So color of thread, I really don't care. Color of CDC, I also care very little. I tend to stay with something semi-contrasting, but not really. And in this instance, we're pretty close to the not really. And again, this is cool because the presentation. So what we see, the presentation to the eye, is pretty big, and you can always see it. What the fish sees, generally speaking, is all these little tendrils, all these little duck feathers, look like the translucent wings and legs, and the tail's all jacked up. And I've done, I'll put a wire body and a little bit of a tail and really accentuated taper with a thin hind end and a thick thorax. Couple wraps of CDC. You see, it looks alien on the water in some of these hatches when they're eating 15s and 18 and 20s. This looks huge. But what is actually on the water is that, and one of the reasons why CDC is so awesome, is all these little tiny touch points. And so it doesn't really throw a huge profile down below, but it certainly does. We see this thing on the water. So great fly for both the South Holston and the Watauga, and anywhere where you have mayflies. Do a couple extra wraps if you're planning to use this as a lead point on a dry dropper. I tend to stay away from fishing droppers with weight, unless I'm doing something foam body or parachute Adams or something like this or something like that. The droppers that I do employ look more like unweighted pheasant tails or just unweighted nymphy segmented contrast type flies. And we will do one of those with the same hook.